Hello, welcome to the Unseen Word channel. If you're enjoying the content, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to stay updated on all my latest videos. Thank you for watching. In this video, we are going to know about 7 worst punishments against women in human history. There have been many cruel tortures created by humans in history and many exclusive punishments that have been reserved for women alone. Most gruesome and cruel punishments against women in human history. Number 1. The Virgin Belts. The Virgin Belts, were also known as iron underpants, were used in medieval European times by men for the purpose of locking the woman's vagina when they were away. During this period, the women were only considered to be male property and were prohibited from glancing, meeting, or communicating with other men. This type of belt was worn for a long time, especially when the men went out to fight the war. Number 2. The SCOLD'S bridle. The SCOLD'S bridle was an iron cage for a woman's face, used to punish women who nagged, gossiped, talked back, or just talked too much. The bridle would be locked onto your head, and a protruding piece of metal covered in spikes would be forced inside your mouth. Every time you moved your tongue, the spikes would lacerate it. Sometimes the bridal woman was chained to a hook by the fireplace in her home until she learned her lesson, or she might be led through town wearing the mask to increase her humiliation. Number 3. Wooden horse. It was designed for any woman who had been convicted of adultery. The clothes of the woman would be stripped off her body, and she would be tied tightly to the wooden horse, which was the torture device. This wooden horse had the rough wooden section in the middle, which was similar to a penis. This piece of wood was attached to the wheel shaft to move, and a few iron nails around it. The wooden penis would penetrate the vagina, and then when the horse would run, it would bump into the vagina and cause the woman to bleed. This was a traumatic experience, and the victim would scream miserably. Most women who were tortured in this form would die or would be disabled for life. Number 4. Brand with a hot iron. Prostitutes or brothel keepers would be branded with the hot iron and banished from the town. This was a popular punishment during the 16th century. Lady Law, who ran a brothel in Aberdeen, was branded with the hot iron on both cheeks by a hangman and made to wear a paper crown. Before being banished from the city, she was warned she would be drowned in a sack if she ever returned. Number 5. Virgin chamber. This torture device was shaped like a virgin, so it is called an iron maiden, and the inside is empty like a small chamber. The front had a lid, and the inner face was covered with thorns. The chamber had enough space for one person. When prisoners would enter, they were unable to move because the thorns were constantly hitting the body. The interrogator would also stab iron-sharp poles inside the chamber during the interrogation process. Number 6. Judas' cradle. During medieval times in Europe, Judas' cradle was an especially designed torture tool for the woman who defies religious beliefs. It was a pyramid-shaped wooden device, and the offender was placed on the top of the device, with her hands and legs tied so that the weight could not be shifted elsewhere. The pointed tip of the pyramid would slowly enter inside the vagina and anus, and the offender would be left to torture for the entire day. Adding more to the shame, this woman would be stripped naked and forced to suffer in public. It was a device that gives a slow, painful death. Number 7. Women accused of theft or witchcraft would be drowned. From Anglo-Saxon times to the 17th century, drowning was a common punishment for women accused of theft. It was also the cause of death in witch dipping, where witch hunters would test to see if a woman was a witch by whether she floated or sank. Drowning as a basic civil punishment was actually considered a lenient sentence, compared to some of the more brutal methods of execution available in those times. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe the channel. Thank you for watching.